I'll just move that. So in the summer of '99, I was between my freshman and sophomore years of high school. And if you're anything like me, that immediately starts your brain rattling like, how old is this fucking idiot? I'm 31, so you don't have to do the math, I'm 31. That was also the year, '99, that they had a little concert called Woodstock '99, which was not Woodstock, but I'm from upstate New York, so of course I went. And it was awesome. It wasn't that great. Next week was Warped Tour, which at that time I was way more excited about. MXPX and Blink-182. I thought I was really into punk rock. And it turns out later I found out that's not punk rock. But we went to Woodstock anyway, and I went with my good friend from college. His name is Noosh. So Noosh comes and he gets me, and Noosh and I are those kind of friends that are really great friends that just constantly fucking fight. Always fighting. Always. So we get to the concert, and we're walking, and I'm like, oh dude, this looks great. Let's set up time. No, you're retarded. Okay, fine. Hey, what about this? Oh, let's just set up our tent. No. When I do the no, that's Noosh. No. So, eventually we walk like 7.5 miles to an Air Force base, and he finds a spot, and I know it's a spot right away because he says, dude, this is a spot. So I'm like, okay, cool, we'll set up here. Later, the karma reversed on him, because I'm not allergic to poison ivy, but he is, and he set up the tent right in poison ivy. So his sister goes to some fancy-ass school out here in California where they serve lobster for lunch and dinner. I don't know what school it was to this day, but all I know is she's really fucking smart. So she reaches in her bag and she takes out her tent, she's like, tent goes up. Now a week prior to going to Woodstock, I was like, dude, I just bought a new tent. Awesome. He's like, I got a 5-person tent. He's like, alright, cool. Noosh is a big guy. He's about 6'1", 280 pounds. Could do cartwheels and round-offs and all kinds of shit, but he was a heavy dude. And I was about the same size that I am now, except I had like 1, maybe 2 abdominal muscles. Other than that, everything was about the same. So he's like, I got a 5-person tent. So he pulls out this tent, which is the kind of burnt orange that they stopped making in 1971. And we start setting it up, and we're still fighting. Just fighting about everything that we can possibly fight about. My tent's better, I tell him. He's like, no, this is awesome, 5-person tent. So we set it up, it's about this wide. And it's like an A-frame tent. Except he's missing a lot of pieces. So instead of an A-frame tent, what it is, it's me and Noosh sweating side by side all night in this little tent that doesn't stay up. So it's just a tent resting on my body, sticking to me. And he's just lazy, you know. We took a handful of Percocets because his aunt told us, and this is a quote, the cancer's going to hurt either way, so you guys could have some fun. We were like, okay. And she's like, make sure you take them, like, spread them out. And we're like, shit, we just ate them all. So, for like 3 days we were lazy, and I was not so lazy, but he was. And I'd be like, oh, let's go see this band. And I honestly don't remember the bands now, but I'd be like, let's go see this band. He'd be like, no, let's just save our energy and we'll go see later. But one band that he was very excited about was Limp Bizkit. So we got to go see Limp Bizkit. Well, actually, I should rephrase that. He got to see Limp Bizkit while I took a poopy that was the most disgusting porta potty I've ever. I mean, seriously, I wish I could describe this to you, but I can't. It was awful. So during Limp Bizkit, he was enjoying the concert, and I was wiping my ass with a sock that I had worn for 2 days straight. And then the only other band he really wanted to go see was Red Hot Chili Peppers. So we go see Red Hot Chili Peppers, and on the way, they're handing out candles. And I don't know if it was like an AIDS candle, or a love candle, or a unity candle, because all they said was, here, light this, we'll tell you when. And then they disappeared, right? We never really saw them again. So no one really knew what to do with candles, but if you know anything about our generation, we just started setting shit on fire. So I'm looking around during the concert, and there's just fire everywhere. And it's not the candles, it's the walls, it's the trees, it's people lighting their shirts on fire and just swinging them in the air. And so we're just surrounded, and I'm like, oh my god, dude, we gotta go check this. Noosh? Noosh? And he's already, come on! We're going back to the tent. So we go back to the tent, and I am like, determined that I'm going to start a little bonfire, which I grew up redneck, but couldn't start a fire, and it was so disappointing me. And I'm just like, dude, come on, let's go do something, let's go do something. So we, eventually, after hours of asking, he's like, okay, let's go do something. So we walked past like 8 hippies on megaphones saying, your generation is the problem with this country, your generation will fail us all. And then we walk like 10 more feet, and there's our generation smashing an ATM with a rock, and we're like, shh, he's right. We saw a guy take a piece of plywood and throw it in the middle of a fire that was way bigger than the stage and just sit there, arms to the sky. Not sure why, but so we go down where all the merchandise is, and there's a booth with a Ryder truck in front of it, and we're 19 at the time. So we had like a nice hero complex to us. And we saw this guy, and he's like, dude, just help us, please. I don't want to lose all my money. Here's a box for you, here's a box for you. Please just fill it up and like fill my truck. You can keep a box of whatever you want, and just help me so I don't lose all my money. So I'm like, yeah, let's do this. So we fill our boxes first, and I lose Noosh in this. Somewhere he's gone. I later found out that he just filled his box and walked away. But I'm jumping over the booth a couple times, grabbing boxes, bringing them over to this Ryder truck, throwing them in there, and I go to jump again, and all of a sudden I feel a tug on my shorts, and I turn around and it's Noosh, because I wasn't wearing a shirt, because I had an ab. So I was topless. So he grabs me, and I turn around, and he looks at me and says, dude, we need to get the fuck out of here right now. And it wasn't the laziness in his eyes, it was just seriousness. And I was like, alright, fine. I took him seriously. I was like, I did try to put up a little fight, like, dude, we're helping this guy. And he's like, let's go. So I pick up my box, and I'm walking back all happy, talking about the tie-dye shirts that I would throw away a week later. And I'm like, dude, what? Why are you doing this? And he goes, the security guard came up. This is news now. I escaped and was talking to the guy who ran the truck. The security guard came up, and another security guard came up and asked what was going on. And the guy who had the truck pulled the metal pipe out of the back of his pants and beat both of them. I wouldn't have believed him because he's a fat liar. But as he was saying this, he spun around, so I followed suit. And we watched as the Ryder truck drove through a sea of people diving out of the way. And then through a chain link fence. And then through a plywood fence that was built for artists to paint on. And then onto the road. And that's why our generation can't have nice things. And that's why we'll never again get another Woodstock.